state.
I don't want to ever give it up. I know you said never get involved. Now I had a taste. Now falling in deep, we're gonna find out. I don't want love, but I want you tonight. I don't want to ever give it up. I know you said never get involved. Now I had a taste. Now falling in deep, we're gonna find out. I don't want love, but I want you tonight. You're playing on my mind now every morning, falling
Good morning, friends. How you guys doing? Let me know if everything's good right off the bat. How's the audio? Background music? I always get a couple comments that audio is not correct. That's why I always ask to start off the streams. I lost stream chat. I'm gonna pull up stream chat real quick. And then we are good to go. What's going on, boys? Good morning. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. I'm a little bit low energy today. I got a little sick. I wouldn't even call it sick, just sore throat, headaches. Not sure what it's from, maybe changing of the season. But yeah, a little bit under the weather. Haven't been feeling great. So if I sound a little low energy today, that's why. But yeah, the weekend's been great. Altcoins been flying. We've been eating. Hope you guys have had some good trades. I know I have. One of those 4 or 5 day stretches where it's like you make your entire month or 2 months in like a weekend. It was one of those weekends, kind of like everything's pumping. Don't really need a rationale behind it. No narratives needed. Altcoins just so suppressed that you're getting these daily trend to weekly trend gap fills, and I've been kind of like across the market everywhere. Just fully closed out. Where is it? Render here. Like these have been bangers left and right. There's been so many of these. But anyways, let's say good morning to you folks. Thank you guys for joining the stream again. Good morning, Amok. Good morning, Lucidity. Goku Mari and NDW. Danny. What's up, everyone? Gabison Studios. Why do you have the studios at the end there, brother? What are you producing? Remember, this is a family-friendly stream. I don't want to hear any jokes out of you. That's the boy. What's up, Charles? What's up, everyone? A lot of new faces in here. A lot of familiar ones. Love to see that. Shall we get started? Let's get started. All right, first thing I want to mention right off the top, Bitcoin's trading at two resistance zones, right? One, it would be the quarterly value area high, and number two is going to be macro mid-range. So I'm going to pull this up. Oops. Right, we're at the exact midpoint pretty much of the all-time high and the demand block that we left before, right? So we have that 58K demand block region, probably the most consensus level from April when everyone was saying we're going to trade into this region. Got turbo front run, and when we actually got into that region, people were too scared to buy, right? Funny how those things work out. But anyways, range high, all-time high, range low, 53K. Midpoint, right? A lot of respect at midpoint along this trading, right? We've set a lot of like high-low pivots in this region, a couple attempts to hold this as support before that August nuke, rejection here, and we're currently getting, I'd say, what is this, 5 days, 5th day in a row of kind of like rejection here. Altcoins have had a lot of fun during this time, right? Bitcoin markup, altcoin rallies. We've kind of, allowed majors to rip. Bitcoin ripped, alts followed. Alts have had 4 or 5 days of fun. So that's, I guess, your only kind of local concern right here. And I also think that it's pretty fun that we're keeping this lower high, lower low fear alive, right? So what we're doing right now, right, we have this entire market structure. This one is the first one where we can say potentially have put in a higher low, would not be confirmed a market structure shift until we trade above 65K. A lot of people are looking for 65K right now. Like everyone and their mother is talking about this market structure break. Everyone and their mother is talking about how we need to trade above 65K. That's all I've been reading in Discord chats. Every Discord chat that I'm in, every friend that I talk to is talking about this level. So it's pretty fun. I think it'd actually be kind of cool if we did front run this and put the fear of God into people one more time, because no one would buy this. It doesn't matter how perfect of a retest you'd be getting on the weeklies, the dailies, the demand block, setting another higher low. you know, that comes to the title of the stream, climbing the wall of worry, right? People are looking for confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, and are just too scared to buy anything, right? That's the kind of point of view that I'm seeing. Now, everyone's point of view is different. You know, the way that our algorithms are curated are different for each individual person, but CT is kind of a hive mind. So what you'll see on one person's feed will be probably echoed on someone else's feed, right? Because like that's just how things happen. It's kind of like a virus of ideas. They just spread all throughout. So anyways, where we are right now, I'm personally not concerned. I'm not concerned whether Bitcoin trades above 65K, whether it front runs 65K. I simply do not care. It's not important to me. This high is not important to me. I don't care if we trade down here, because I would look to buy the dip here. You guys have heard me saying, you know, 2 weeks in a row now. Well, I've been saying it a lot in Paragon. I don't know how many times I've publicly streamed. I think I said it last week. Last week, I like pretty much said that I believe the bottom's in. I believe the bottom's in on altcoins. Probably like 80% of altcoins have bottomed. 20% haven't. If you guys haven't checked out last week's stream, I would recommend like going back and watching that one, so I don't repeat myself too much this time. Everything's timestamped, by the way, so you're not gonna have to find where I'm talking about it. You can just go to the timestamp and watch that part. But anyways, since I'm confident that I believe the bottom is in, I believe that every point from this point forward is a buying opportunity. So my point of view is not going to change whether we trade above 65K or not. Whether we trade 1% higher or 1% lower is not going to change the outcome of my decisions that are going to impact my trading portfolio and my, you know, assets over the next 6 to 8 months. I simply don't care about a pivot point 1% away. Like, I'm not going to be making 6-month decisions based on this, right? So I simply don't care. I just wanted to hammer that point home. I've heard a lot of people really concerned about that 65K level. I just wanted to give my perspective there. And if we're being really, really, really technical, trading above this high isn't even a market structure break. Trading above this high is your market structure break. This is the high that led to the last low. So trading above this high would be the market structure break. This entire thing is just considered one leg, right? Until you've put in a higher high above the high that said the low, right? That's how you break market structure. You take out the high that sets the low, right? That's your classic ICT smart money concept breaker, you know, whatever you want to call it. So we're getting really technical. The market structure break isn't even up until up there. This would be simply like a market structure shift, because you'd have a consistent daily leg of higher highs and higher lows, which we have not seen in quite some time. So I just wanted to get that 65K level out of the way, and then let's come back to chat and see if we have any questions and continue on. Just a bunch of good mornings. It's good to see. It's good to see. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Kellen. Reply guy, man, what a name. I love the confidence. What up, Richard? Oh geez. Telegram will now provide users IP addresses, phone numbers, and other details to relevant authorities in response to legal requests per Bloomberg. All right, well, if you're hiding stuff, guys, be aware. The government knows now. I mean, it's not like they didn't already know. They track everything. I hear that you're not feeling well, but you're going to have to lift up that energy because we're going to the motherfucking moon. I love that, man. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. Yesterday, I was feeling dog shit, man. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, but I just did not have energy. I spent like the entire day in bed. I couldn't look at charts. I did a couple of trades, but it really wasn't anything too much, but worked out well. It was a good weekend. I have a funny story for you guys. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me just finish the chat. Nice to make it to a live for a change. Nice, man. Nice to have you here. Goku's dropping the headlines this morning. Now, man. Oh yeah, I saw the Coinbase headline, right? That there was some like concern about how Coinbase wasn't actually buying or custodying the Bitcoin, that they were like, you know, handing out IOUs or something like that. So that's good that they're clearing that stuff up. It's good to hear. BlackRock's on their game. Good morning, Calf. Haven't seen you in a minute, man. Hope you're well. Haven't seen you in months, actually. Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you. What's up, Jingo? All right. What do you think about ZRO? I'll do alts in a minute, man. If I start doing alts right now, I'll get completely distracted. Last week, I kind of like barely didn't even really want to, like, I didn't cover all the points that I wanted to cover because, well, I got distracted. So I'm going to try to stay a little bit more on point today. We'll just kind of go down the list. So we did Bitcoin, TLDR. I don't care. I don't care about 65K. I don't care if we front run this and pull back first. I don't care if we trade above it. The next thing I want to talk about is altcoins that kind of, may lead to Bitcoin front running 65K. And that's where we are on the weekly trend. This is others. This chart looks really good. This is why we've been having a lot of fun this week. This steady bid, right? It hasn't been just a quick squeeze up, reflexive move after a nuke. It was more methodical, couple pronged in here. This is why you've seen, alts go ham, Sui and stuff like that, Tau, right? This is really fun, but make no mistake, they're still in a downtrend, right? They are rounding out. This is starting to round out. Every kind of drive down is being less and less impactful. We've reached high time frame levels, right? This is multiple months now of kind of like forming a bottom here, but make no mistake, we are trading back into the weekly downtrend, right? So if we get bonked here, it should be a surprise to no one. Coming up with also the end of the month, end of the quarter, start of Q4, next month, the entire world is just going to be talking about elections, US elections, US elections, US elections. There'll be some uncertainty with US elections. So, if we do put in a local top here, it should surprise no one because alts are trading into the downtrending weekly trend. And I talked about Bitcoin trading at that macro mid-range as well as quarterly value area high. So a bunch of resistance levels that we're pressed up against right now. But I mean, the same thing I said last week on others is this is accumulation. Like any kind of drops into this region, we do have to break the daily downtrend. We do have to reclaim 240, really strong level. Every time we've lost 240, it's kind of like completely fallen apart, completely fell apart here, completely fell apart here. So above 240 billion, I think this thing starts flying. We probably get to new all-time highs, start a new trend, and new all-time highs. But it's going to take a couple stabs. If we do retrace here, you'd just be simply looking for another kind of higher low to form, right? Even if we trade back into this kind of pink level that I have marked out here, like 177, that'd be quite a drop. I don't want to see that personally, but even if it happens, I just look at this as opportunity. This is accumulation. This would be your trend reclaim. This is going to be your markup and turbo risk on season. So opportunity, right? TLDR, opportunity is here. Don't be scared of these pullbacks. I know I won't be, and I'm just gonna be looking at this as opportunity. This is risk on. Anything in between this place is a little bit of uncertainty. Combine that with kind of like end of quarter where Bitcoin is and the elections coming up. How do you combat FOMO and flip-flopping trades? The simple answer is experience and reps. There's no shortcut for it. Everyone experiences that kind of stuff, especially early on in their journey. Even now, I actually experience that. I experience FOMO all the time, but I use it. I use it constructively. I have the awareness now through like multiple repetitions of just multiple hundreds and thousands of trades, of recognizing those things, understanding the mistakes that I'm prone to making when I'm feeling a certain way, understanding the opportunity that's presented when I'm feeling a certain way. I can kind of counter trade my own emotions pretty well now, right? Like a couple weeks ago, at the start of September, I had made the plan going in, right, that we would probably retrace in September. I was aware of this. I knew this. I was prepared for this. Even then, when we got to these lows, when ETH came to this double bottom, I don't know if you guys remember, but I tweeted it out when ETH was up here somewhere. And I said, if ETH makes a double bottom in this region, you should be buying spot for swinging to all-time highs, right? I tweeted that out. When we got to this region, I felt the crunch and the pressure as well, right? I felt that feeling of like, do I really want to buy here? It could go lower. Like everyone naturally feels these emotions, but if you have enough experience and reps, you know that you can actually use those constructively. You're supposed to feel those things at bottoms. You're supposed to feel happy when numbers are going up. You're supposed to feel concerned when numbers are going down. But you can use those and identify those and know that this is how I feel under certain moments. This is how I feel under pressure. And this is often the result of that pressure being lifted, right? 2-3 weeks later, what was the result of that? How should I have actioned that? How did I action that? Can I do better the next time? These things are going to happen again and again and again. So I just experience and repetition. There's no secret sauce, man. There's no like, plunge your head in cold water and sing kumbaya and fucking, you know, whatever. There's none of that. Take ayahuasca. Like, there's no shortcut. I can't just tell you, like, how do you combat FOMO? Just fucking eat pickles on Saturday mornings, you know. There's no secret. There's no shortcut. It's just experience. Every single trader you know deals with it and has a different way of overcoming it. It's about self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing the things that can, you know, shake you out, knowing the things, the mistakes that you're prone to making, where you're prone to making them, journaling them. Anyways. I wanted to talk about ETH anyways. We're on ETH. I did buy that spot, right? We talked about this. I did buy this spot in this region. I'm looking for ETH to bridge this final gap, right? Even if I think Bitcoin is topped, I think it's possible ETH could put in one more little fart push to 2,800. It is outperforming. It's up 3% of the day. Now, I will say that anytime so far in the last year and a half, maybe even 2 years, that ETH has outperformed Bitcoin, it's been a local top. Anytime ETH BTC is turbo up, coincide with a local top. So another signal there. You know, I talked about that mid-range level, talked about quarterly value area high, talked about where others are, and now we've got ETH BTC kind of outperforming here. So what I would love, because I'm long ETH and I have a bunch of ETH, is just one more push up to here to take profits and de-risk some spot, or at least TP some spot, and probably look to reposition that into alts as this pulls back. So whether we bridge this final gap or not, I couldn't tell you, but I would like to see it, and I think it's high likelihood that we can push just one more leg higher to 2,800. And the last thing I want to say is just macro ETH BTC. We're coming up to another level where I know a lot of people are tired of hearing people say ETH BTC bottom, but you have to take stabs at certain regions, right? You have to take stabs when we run this low. You have to be bull curious. You have to take a chance. You can't be fearful at significant levels, right? So as long as ETH was crabbing in this region, I was willing to acknowledge that ETH BTC was just putting in an accumulation at range lows and can break out of some high time frame levels and get a reversal. None of that happened. It didn't matter that we got the ETF approved. It didn't matter that we ran these swing lows. None of that stuff mattered. It broke down anyways. Here's the next significant region where bulls would probably like to make a stand, myself included. I think that this would be the next strongest level after losing 50 would be like 35, 36, right? We've traded very close to that region now. Whether we have to touch this magical blue line that I've drawn, maybe I can draw this line a little bit higher. It's just a horizontal level, guys. It really is not that serious. Nonetheless, this is a region where, once again, it pays to have an open mind, to look for ETH strength once again, and not just completely fade it for the sake of fading it because you're so used to fading it, right? A trend is a trend until a trend ends, right? They're not going to last forever. Eventually a downtrend is going to end. Eventually an uptrend is going to end. Sometimes along those trends, you have to be curious about trend reversal or a bottom formation. So this is one of those periods, one of those areas that I'm looking at for potential reversal on ETH BTC. Combined with that, this is something that I brought up a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, was Sol ETH. That I was not too comfy looking at this picture on Sol ETH, right? Solana, denominated in Ethereum, has a 3-drive formation, SFP'd the all-time highs, and has a massive divergence here, right? So I don't use momentum indicators often, but this is undeniable waning momentum on the weekly on Sol ETH, right? And we're really struggling at these highs right here. So I'm short Sol ETH. Quick shout out to Pair Protocol. If you guys haven't heard of Pair, that's where I take all my pair trades. Really great decentralized like exchange to trade pairs. You can trade like the entire Binance Perp order book on there. Literally like all these eccentric pairs. You don't need to open up, go on your centralized exchange and open long on one coin and short another coin. You can just do that directly on Pair. So I recommend that. If you guys haven't looked into them, definitely check those out. Anyways, I'm short Sol ETH on Pair right now. And I'm holding this as a swing and kind of like a hedge because, as you guys know, I own a lot of spot Solana. I actually own more spot ETH than Solana at this moment, at the time of this live stream. And the main reason was for the points I just mentioned, where ETH BTC is and how Sol ETH looks. Now, I could be turbo wrong. We could just break out of this anyways. Strong possibility. But like I said, there's certain regions where, you know, it pays to be curious and look for those potential signs of weakness and potential signs of reversal. I could be turbo wrong. This could just completely break out and, you know, the short that I'm in could get stopped out. Totally fine with me. It's just a region that I'm interested in trading around. So I am short Sol ETH right now. I am a little bit ETH BTC curious for the first time in a few months once again. And, you know, combine that where ETH is standing, wrong chart, right? Where ETH is on a high time frame basis, it pays to be very ETH curious at this moment, right? Look at all the respect that we've had for this level. So trading into this region felt like a no-brainer to me, which is why I picked up, you know, kind of a metric fuck ton of ETH spot down here, which probably no one else did. No one else wanted to do. If you picked up altcoins and you outperformed me, GG's to you. This was just, you know, the ethos that I have, that it's more important to size into your high conviction plays than it is to catch shitcoin of the day on like nothing size, right? It doesn't matter if you catch 100x if you put 1% of your portfolio in it. It's like, it's not a big deal. But if you know, size into this with actual size and just catch, you know, 50% moves or whatever, I think those things matter. Probably not the best math that I just gave you guys, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Cal, remind me about ZRO later. I promise I'll check that chart. Let me just get done with some intros. A couple more charts I want to talk about, and then we'll open it up. How do you process when everything's pumping and just feel scared to bid? Happened to you last year. Few things. You need to have plans. So when we're sitting like this, right? I'm taking a random level. When we're sitting like this, I have multiple things firing off in my brain, right? Number one, if ETH reclaims here, this is going to look like a really strong deviation. This will be a long, right? If ETH breaks down, I want to be interested down here, right? That's just a simple example of an if-then plan, right? I don't know what ETH is going to do. If it does this, I will respond this way. If it does this, I'll respond this way. That's a chart-based approach. Similarly, you can do this on any altcoin across any time frame and make any sort of plan, whether it's a trading plan or a spot pickup plan or whatever. We can talk about SUI, right? This is a plan that I want to make, right? So we'll get rid of this. SUI's all the way up here. If SUI drops into this region, I'm going to buy a fuck ton of SUI spot, right? With the rest of the stables that I have, I may even shift some bags around to buy more SUI spot. If this happens, if I get some perfect miracle, and you know, it's probably not even going to dip that low. Maybe somewhere in here, right? This is an if-then plan for me. If this doesn't happen, I have to make plans on another coin. I have to have backup plan A, backup plan B, backup plan C, so that the market can't surprise me. So when you're saying, how do you process when everything's pumping, you just feel scared to bid? The answer is preparation. You have to be prepared for that scenario ahead of time. It's very hard to make plans in the moment. That's why you're scared to bid. You're not scared to bid because things are up. You're scared to bid because you don't have a plan and you didn't come into it with a plan. So how do you repair this? Now where you are, right? And you say, okay, like you could take any chart. Look at Bitcoin. You just say, okay, if Bitcoin pulls back, I will do this. And you start opening up alt charts and you say, okay, hypothetically speaking, if Bitcoin pulls back 5%, where hypothetically could my altcoin drop to? Where's the next support region on this altcoin? Okay, so if Bitcoin's at support and my altcoin's at support, and I would think that Bitcoin's going to bounce from here, my altcoin should bounce from here, I should buy that altcoin, right? That's an if-then plan. Okay, next, if Bitcoin pumps higher, right, and I don't know, and I have no bags, what across the market right now looks good for a continuation setup, right? I would go down the entire list and I would say, okay, I think FTM, right? I'd say this is a pretty clean level, right, on FTM. And we're trading into it right now. If Bitcoin's going to push higher from here, this is not a bad bag to pick up with a really clear-cut invalidation, right? I could buy around this level. I could cut if it's lost. If Bitcoin doesn't go up, then this is probably going to nuke too. If this is going to go down, if Bitcoin's going to go down, FTM's probably going to go down. Very clear-cut if-then plan. Coins that you could play for continuation, coins that you're looking at for really steep pullbacks if Bitcoin pulls back. If-then plan, right? So again, just preparation. But when I feel like everything's pumping and things are risk on, I have to understand that we're in a new meta, right? In a range bound regime, you're looking for really strong triggers at certain levels. Run of this low, really tight stop, really clear cut invalidation. Don't push your luck on continuation trades. When you're in a risk on regime and you get kind of this feeling of like, okay, things are pumping hard and things are pushing above resistance, there's times you could just take that breakout trade. Like, look at the render trade I took. I didn't really get a trigger. I just understand that the environment has shifted, right? We're breaking above this region. This is the second test of this region. We're still holding the 4-hour trends. We've never lost the 4-hour trend. We're breaking above this region. I want to take a trade where I'm going to know that I'm wrong very quickly. If this is not going to break out here, I'm going to know very quickly that it's not going to break out, and I'm going to take that trade. I'm willing to accept the loss that if this isn't going to play out, right? Just like very clear-cut, simple if-then plans, I think. Understanding meta changes, just having plans for stuff. I think that's the easiest way that I could say it. DMT, I promise I'll look at alts later. Simple break, dude. Push the like button. I appreciate that, guys. If you could hit the like button. I'd really like to grow the YouTube stream. I don't give a fuck about Twitter followers. I don't care if I never get another follower on Twitter, but I'd love to grow the YouTube stream. Do you take pair trades often? No, I'd say maybe like once a month. Definitely not often, but I do like trading pair trades. I think there's a lot of edge in there that people don't see. Like, things in crypto can get very saturated very quickly. I think pair trading is an edge that not a lot of people understand and use, and I think it's very simple. It's as simple as shorting a coin that's not in the narrative and longing a coin that is in the narrative and not worrying about the entries on either. If you just simply think from here on out, you're like, man, no, like let's say 3 weeks ago or something like that, you're like, Sui looks so strong, man. If the market goes up, Sui's definitely going to be an outperformer. It's definitely going to outperform Bitcoin. You can just long Sui, short Bitcoin, or screw Bitcoin. You just take a shit coin down the list that, like, I probably don't even have any turbo shit coins on here, but just any old shit coin that you're like, this is just not going to move, like Dogecoin, right? Like, Dogecoin's randomly not going to get a 50% pump. So you could just short Dogecoin, long Sui, right? Like your pair trade could be as simple as that. That way you don't have to time either trade. You don't really have to think about what's my entry on Sui? Do I need to get a perfect entry on Sui USD? You're basically just playing the outperformance of one coin versus another. Very simple way to trade pairs. Since the plan is up only, do you keep shorts off the table completely? I just almost never short. I know I just talked about a Sol ETH short, but like in 2024, I've taken less than 10 shorts probably. Since summer of 2023, I've probably taken less than 20 shorts. I think we're in a bull market. I think we're going a lot higher. I don't think Bitcoin's macro topped at 60K. If I thought it was all over, I'd be shorting coins. The fact that I think things are going higher, I'm staying long bias, and I'm not trying to trade both sides of the market. I don't care about nailing this top and then trying to nail this bottom. I just want to nail the bottom, and I'll play the long leg up, and while things are bleeding, if I want to scalp and counter trend trade, I'll do that. I'm just sticking with one side of the market. Now, everyone's free to play trade the market however they want. That's just the way that I do it. Because for me, maintaining a bias directionally, even if the current seasonality does not approve of that, I still want to maintain, directional bias for higher until I'm convinced that a cycle top is actually in. So yeah, shorts are completely off the table. They've been off the table. I haven't shorted anything really this summer, like a couple here and there, but nothing really impactful. With compression coming to the end, yeah, I think I don't think. Okay, here's what I'll say. I don't think memes turbo outperform until next year. I think memes will do well. I don't think Pepe or WIF are going to put in new all-time highs in 2024. But I think stuff like Sui could put in new all-time highs in 2024. I think other coins could put in new all-time highs in 2024, but I do not think WIF or Pepe is going to do that. I think Popcat can do it, so some memes can. But in general, I've had I've tweeted this out, I think in May, no, not May, maybe even sooner, maybe even April, that WIF, just give me an accumulation sub 2. I have a tweet out there. Guys, feel free to check it. I don't really care about clout too much, but the plan on WIF was, if this breaks down, all I want to see is an accumulation range between $1 to $2 or something like that. This would give me the confidence to buy WIF and look for the next expansion trade. It's done that. It's done literally exactly what I begged the market for it to do. I think this looks obvious in hindsight. I think 6 months from now, people go, well, it was just so simple. I could have just bought spot WIF and outperformed. It is that simple, but do you have the patience to buy this and watch Popcat do a 5x and other things do this and do that? And maybe this does something, right? But do you have the patience to just hold this and wait for your moment? It's very hard for people to do that. And I'll tell you from experience, everybody missed Pepe for the same reason. They could not hold on to the bag and watch other things outperform. And when it was actually Pepe's turn, 99.9% of the people missed that God pump because they could not sit and just wait and do nothing, because things are going off every single day. Cass opinion? Yeah, I'll do Cass in a minute. I promise, guys. I'll do alts in a minute. Mog, I'll do Mog, ZRO, Cass. Just remind me in a bit. I'll say, like, I'm ready for alts, and you can throw them in chat then. The Duck is back and tweeting about ETH too. That's cool, man. That's cool. I think I have Donald muted, but I'll probably unmute him now. I muted him months ago, and it's not even like because of him. It's just because everyone was talking about his opinions, and it's just all CT would want to talk about is like, Don has said this about memes, Don said this about Bitcoin, Don said this about Sol, Don said this about this, and it was all anyone wanted to talk about. And I was like, guys, I understand this dude's a legend, but we don't need to glaze anyone like that. The same way, like, you know, I think CT's got a real problem when it comes to traders as far as over glorifying wins and over punishing losses. Like, if someone takes a public L, people come down on them like they're the worst trader ever. If someone takes a win, they're just like goated, the best trader ever. You know, it's a drama reality show, and it's not the CT that I remember. It's a very weird version of CT now, and I've just been trying to drown out the noise. But I gotta unmute him. I have nothing against Don. It was just too much noise around him. Okay, last question. Did you have a chat with Bombay? Long time no see. I think he stopped trading crypto. Either that or he just stopped publicly trading crypto. I think he's good. All's good in his life. He's doing well. There's nothing to be concerned about. He just doesn't want to be like a public trader anymore. ETH BTC is pumping is bearish, right? It's been a while. Yeah, I think, you know, historically over the last like 18 months, anytime ETH BTC is pumped, it's coincided with a top. I think that's like 99% accurate as far as the local top indicator. So it could work out once again. I think literally all of these spikes, all of these ETH BTC out for performance spikes were like local tops on the market. Like even this one, right? Even this was a local top. This could end up being a local top. This is not gonna last forever, guys. There's gonna be a moment where people are gonna see ETH BTC going up and they're gonna sell everything because they're conditioned to do so, and it's just gonna continue going higher. Okay, let's move on. Solana has really impressed me. There was a moment, not a moment. There was a good chunk of time, few weeks, where I really thought Solana was going to break down. I really thought Solana was going to trade sub 100. I didn't think we would get 80s or anything like that, but I thought that, you know, there's a possibility we could trade under this low. I didn't like the way it was shaping up. It was showing a lot of relative weakness. When the market went risk on, it didn't even perform that well. It's performed phenomenally over the past few days. I'm less inclined to look for lower on Solana. I think, you know, whoever, maybe Satoshi himself, is bidding Solana at fucking $125. It is what it is, right? Like I said, I have a lot of spot Solana, so I'm comfortable either way. I actually did want to buy if this came down. The thesis was that ETH would outperform, Solana would have a correction, Sol ETH would come down. I talked about Sol ETH a little bit earlier in the stream, and I could take some of those ETH gains and reposition back into Sol. Didn't play out that way, but that was the original kind of game plan for all of this. The way Solana's trading right now, it has no trends to work with. Everything's kind of flattened out, like daily trends, weekly trends. Everything's sort of flattened out. I'd be waiting on Solana to form a fresh kind of 4-hourly uptrend above the weeklies and dailies before I think this is ready to break out. The way it is right now, I think it pays much. It's going to pay much better to trade this using price action denominated like trading setups, liquidity runs, breakers, order blocks, stuff like that, versus trying to trend trade this. This has just, you know, been my experience over the last few months, right? Anytime that I've traded Solana over the past few months, that's the, you know, that's the dynamic that I've used to trade it with. So I probably won't set up too many trades on Solana in the next few weeks. Just going to be observing. BTC.D. So this is a little bit of why we're getting a short burst, at least at the moment, of altcoin denominated strength. Bitcoin dominance traded into that very significant, like 58% level. All right, let's go on the monthly. You guys can see it's even cleaner, right? Ultra clean level here. Do I think Bitcoin dominance is topped? No. I'm not willing to call Bitcoin dominance top until the trends that have held us from the FTX lows break. Wherever and whenever that may be. Maybe that's here, maybe that's higher. I couldn't tell you, but when these break, that's when I'd be willing to say, okay, full-blown alt season, BTC Dom topped. I'm not willing to say that yet. I think this is just like a natural place for alts to get a little bit of a bid. Now alts and others, I've showed you guys, are trading in, oh my God, all these drawings, are trading into the weekly trend. Decent place to look to risk off if you're in some longs, maybe take some profits, protect some capital. Maybe don't chase right here, right? Understand that if we do break above 240, if we do accept above 240, you will get a lot more opportunities, right? So back to Bitcoin dominance. That's really all I wanted to say, is just point out the level that we're trading at. I do think this trade's a little bit higher. Maybe a potential alt season could look something like this, trading into 64, eventually losing those EMAs, and then breaking down back under 58, and this could be your turbo fucking we're all gonna make it type of alt season. Tentative plans right there. Last few charts. One thing, I'll leave it here, and then we'll go to chat. All right, just want to point out the Bitcoin's reaction when DXY loses monthly trends, right? Big DXY breakdowns under monthly trends coincide with very, very strong Bitcoin rallies. DXY is, the denominator. It's the US dollars. It's the denominator across all our risk assets. If US dollar loses value, risk assets gain value. That's just basic math. So DXY breaking down 2017, a big bull market or risk on rally. DXY breaking down in 2020, big risk on rally. Look what DXY is doing right now on the weekly trends, right? It's tried to hold this level for multiple months. It has not been able to break out. Numerous times, DXY bulls have talked about DXY trading higher and trading higher and trading higher. This to me is an indication that it could actually be trading lower or be in a sustained period of weakness, something like this, ranging at these lows for a little bit, giving us 6, 8, 12 months to work with as far as risk assets go. It's very, very interesting where Bitcoin is at this moment of the breakdown. So something I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, but one thing that I wanted to point out on stream right here, a lot of things are tying in. A lot of things are tying in as far as, I think, you know, post-elections, November 4th, I think things are going to get very, very nutty in crypto. We have just one more month, you know. I believe in October, but at the same time, like, September's been phenomenal off these lows so far. The monthly's closing green. Well, more or less probably going to close green. I shouldn't, you know, shouldn't say that yet. We still have a week left, but I think when things get really nutty is November. October may be good, but November is probably going to be the unreal month that we're all been waiting for. Yeah, it's literally following your whiff post. Yeah. Lucky. Sometimes you doodle stuff and it just like plays out perfectly, right? I've had a lot of doodles that honestly look like I could read the future, but they come down to like basically just a little bit of game theory, like, you know, how would participants respond if this happened to price? And I basically just think about my own like journey and time in crypto and how I responded and how I deal with certain things, and then just apply that to like doodles on a chart. And you know, it's funny because crypto, everything, like a lot of stuff here is vapor. A lot of stuff is just game theory and PvP and trying to outsmart other participants. So sometimes those doodles are pretty accurate. Dude, which person do you want to interview next that's on top of your list? Dude, I haven't done a podcast in so long. Few reasons why. One is I forgot who I was trying to get. I was trying to get like EXO on and Fallis, and I forgot who else, but I got a bunch of yeses from people, and there was just like scheduling, you know, issues, or like we couldn't find a time or something like that, and then I just put it on the back burner. And I did a podcast with Stoic, and I was like, you know, he interviewed me, and I was like, man, this guy is probably better than me at this, and he's really grinding this. Maybe I just let him have the CT podcast title. I'm already doing a lot. I'm streaming. I'm running the clinic. I'm trading publicly. I'm doing all this stuff. Maybe I let him have the podcast thing. But honestly, that was how I felt. But I can always bring it back. I don't really know who I'd want to interview next, though. Usually the people that I interview, I want to learn something from. There's a specific question or reason or something like that. Maybe even on the podcast, maybe behind the scenes, that I want to ask them and learn from them. That's typically how I've gone about the podcast or interviews so far. But off the top of my head, man, I don't know. I would have to think about it. Who I'd really want to interview at this moment. I still think Fallis would be cool, just because we have more in common than he might realize. Like him leaving law for crypto, me leaving medicine for crypto, him getting his ass kicked in the 2021 cycle and basically taking it personally and being like, I'm gonna learn how to trade, and you know, like I don't care about law, I'm doing this. I did the exact same thing with medicine. I was like, fuck medicine, I'm gonna, you know, I got my ass kicked in 21 cycle, I'm gonna, or like one time in December, and I was like, I'm taking that personally, I'll be here. I think that would be a cool one. There's a bunch of people that I want to interview that wouldn't come on, like Owen. Owen, I've asked him. He doesn't want to come on. He doesn't want to do an interview. Ritika, I've asked. She's not interested. Who else? Awawat, I'd love to have a conversation with Awawat. He doesn't want to like come on and dox himself, I guess. I think that's like the main thing for most people. Hero Capital, you know, there's Hanzo. There's tons of people I'd love to talk to that just don't want to like dox and speak publicly. If a trade goes wrong, do you set sell limit orders, stop limit, or set alarms? It depends, man. So if I'm trading actively, I'm not going to have a stop limit. I'm going to be watching it. If I'm scalping, if I'm trading intraday, I'm literally here sitting at the desk watching 1 minute charts once I enter the trade. I don't need to have a hard stop. If I'm trading a trend, I'll have a wide stop with limits just to, you know, prevent some fucking cataclysmic thing that happens overnight while I'm sleeping. But most of the time, Most of the time my stops are manual. Most of the times I don't have hard stops. Sometimes, very rarely, sometimes there's very clear-cut places. Like if I'm taking a breakout trade and it's doing something like this, like consolidating at resistance and it breaks out, I just know, like if I'm taking a trade on this breakout, I just know it just cannot trade underneath this consolidation or resistance. It just can't. That wouldn't even make any sense for this to happen and still like break out. If this happens, it's probably going to take some time, consolidate again. So you could set hard stops in those situations. You can even set them super tight and be like, well, we shouldn't even trade under the origin of the breakout. We shouldn't even trade under here, the expansionary candle, right? There are times where stops are really obvious and you can set hard stops. But when you're trading trends, a lot of the times, right, having hard stops are like at the prior low, right? If you're buying this low, it's like at the prior low. You don't want liquidity to be run in a trending market. There's no need to run liquidity. By definition, running liquidity means you need liquidity to enter positions. That's how liquidity theory works. But in a trending market, the idea is it's strong and people are chasing and people are stacking bids and they're trying to buy this low. So when we trade back into it, there's so much buy pressure that whoever puts their bids down here don't even get filled. That's why you get trends, right? People try to buy at these lows, but they can't get filled there. If you can get filled here, that's a sign of weakness. I'm going off on a tangent, but let me go back to your original question. It's a combination of everything. I do set alarms. I do set hard stops sometimes. A lot of times the stops are manual. A lot of times when I'm trading trends, my stops are super wide so that I have the flexibility to trade them manually. There's some times where I set hard stops, but it's not often. How do you switch between trend trading and price action trades as an approach? First, I'd say not master, get really comfortable with trading price action. Understand price action first and foremost as your baseline. Get comfortable trading price action, then add trends, and it becomes very simple. Then you understand that when you're in a trending market, you know, you're going to be front running liquidity. You may even front run order blocks, right? You have to rely on trends sometimes. You're looking for low time frame triggers within a trend to look for trend continuation. Then when the trend that's been carrying you breaks down, right? So let's say we have an example. I'll do a blank canvas. Why not? Seems like a fun topic to talk about. I have all this sauce, by the way, in Paragon. I'll do a quick Paragon show. I have 15 videos of education in there. I talk about how to switch from a trend trading market to a range bound market, what the triggers are and stuff. But I'll give you a quick lesson. So we'll call this the weekly trend. Let's make it thick, right? We'll call this the daily trend. We'll do it less thick. We'll even change the color. And then we'll call this the 4-hour trend. Right? These are the 3 trends that I use in my trading, right? 4-hour, daily, weekly. If we're trading above all 3 of these, if price has reclaimed all 3 of these, maybe we're in a range bound market, we've marked up, we're trading above all 3 of these. This is the time when the coin has the most room to actually rip and expand. In this environment, you want to continue trading off the 4-hour trend. Sometimes things are so parabolic, it might even be the 1-hour trend. Sometimes it might be the 15-minute trend. The trend that carries you, right? Let's use this example. The 4-hour trend that carries you. When it's lost and it breaks down and we get crowded and we start losing this 4-hour trend after respecting it for a very long period of time, you're going to get a correction into the daily trend, right? You're going to get a correction in the daily trend. If you cannot reclaim the point at which this broke down, right? And flip this into a breaker and start reclaiming the daily trend again, if you can't do this, right? If this fails, you are going to be in a range-bound environment between the daily and the 4-hour trend for some time. Now you have another opportunity. When the weekly trend catches up and you tag this, this is a very strong opportunity after maybe a 30% correction or something like that to re-long and look for trend continuation, look to reclaim the daily. Okay, we'll just do it like this. I'm doing it really lazy, but and look for another fresh 4-hour trend, right? When the weekly is lost, you're fucked. You're probably going to be in a really strong downtrend into the last like origin of impulse or big demand block or big support region or something like that. Anytime you lose the 4-hour trend and you're between the daily, this is price action trading. Anytime you're between the daily and the weekly, price action trading. Anytime you're, ranging between, you have no sustainable trend along the 4-hour, you lose the 4-hour trend, you lose this point of breakdown. I hope you guys can see where I'm drawing. Right? We're not able to reclaim this point of breakdown. You're in a range bound environment, right? When you hold the weekly and you mark back up again and you're holding the 4-hour trends, you're in a trending environment. This is where you trade trends. This is where you trade trends. This is where you trade price action. So TLDR, the trend that carries you, namely the 4-hour trend, if it's lost and you're unable to reclaim the point of breakdown and put in a breaker and reclaim this 4-hour trend, you're going to correct into the daily. Between the daily and the 4-hour, price action environment. In the case that you're above the weekly, you can use this as your correctionary support and start a fresh trend. Trading above this original point of breakdown and holding the 4-hour trend again, trending environment once again. Very simple triggers for when to flip-flop between strategies. I kind of probably gave away too much there, but honestly, I don't know. It's more nuanced than that, but that's the framework for how to switch between. Those are the simple ass triggers to use. But like I said, there's more in Paragon if you guys want to learn from me there. I have videos on it. Probably make more videos on it as we start getting trending again. I think Bitcoin has a nice blow off to get to 60% for sure. I agree with you. You're talking about Bitcoin dominance. I agree. I think it'd be interesting if Bitcoin dominance actually topped here. It's not something that I would bet on. I think this is going to have a really strong candle through here. We probably top somewhere in this region. Would you be looking for continuation on say if Bitcoin breaks above 65K? Okay, we'll get to alts now in a little bit. XO would be dope. I've talked to XO plenty of times. We just can't get scheduling like set up. I talked to him like in April. I talked to him in July. He's a busy guy. But bug him, man. Go in his reply to him on CT and be like, go stream with Doc. Rect Proof or Calio would be solid. Yeah, cool. I think I follow Rect Proof. I followed Calio for a bit in 2021. Cause was a chill stream. Yeah, Cause is super cool, man. Cause is super cool. I've been following him for a very long time. It's cool to get to know him a little bit now. He hangs out in Paragon as well. Kind of got introduced through Magus. I didn't, I never spoke to him prior to like maybe a month or two ago. I can't even remember. Time's flying. But yeah, man, it was a really sick stream with him. I love price action traders, man. It doesn't matter like how much I add it to a system or subtract, or if I start using order flow or VWAPs or EMAs or whatever I have fancy right on my screen. At the end of the day, there's just something that hits right about people that just draw 2 lines on a chart, and it's like I'm in a long here, right? Based on simple price action. That is the cleanest, like most attractive way to trade for me. That's why I built the foundation there. I looked at that and I was like, fuck, that's so clean. I gotta trade like that. Josh from Banter. I don't know who that is, but maybe, man. Maybe bring on Altcoin Psycho. That'd be sick. I'm decent friends with Dentoshi now, and I know Dentoshi and AP are dating. And they've been together for some time, so I could probably ask Dentoshi to put in a good word for me, and maybe I can get AP on stream. That'd be sick. Just joined in. Is there a particular trend line or obvious trend? The trend that I use most commonly is the 4-hour trend. You want me to give you more an example on this one? I can keep going. Here's textbook. You guys can study this one. Study this one. Like everything I just said, it'll be timestamped. It's already, you could probably already rewind the stream because it's live. You could probably already rewind it and watch back what I said. Tomorrow will be timestamped. You can come back and rewatch this. Here's an example. what did Pepe do down here? It reclaimed the daily. It reclaimed the weekly. It starts holding above all these. It starts holding the 4-hour trend as support. It starts to break out of the range that it's in, right up here. It's holding the 4-hour trend. It's marking up trend trades. 4-hour trend, 4-hour trend, 4-hour trend. What happened when it lost the 4-hour trend, right? It put in a point of breakdown. Right, we can just drag this across. Put in a point of breakdown. It traded into the dailies. Price action trading. Look at this. Crabbiness. What happens when we can't hold the daily? Where do we correct to? The weekly trend. What did I say? When you get the weekly trend tag, that's your opportunity to reclaim the dailies in the 4 hours and get a fresh trend. Exactly what happened. Look at where we got rejected here. Point of breakdown. Look what happens when we reclaim the point of breakdown and the daily trend. Look at what happens. Honestly, giving away too much sauce today. Same thing, right? Point of breakdown all the way up here. When is Pepe gonna get trading? And I mean, it's a tough task, right? I have 2 points of breakdowns now. This is probably gonna be much, much more impactful. The next time Pepe makes it up to here, it's gonna get bonked. I don't think this is gonna break out. I think this is where people are going to get hyperactive on memes and think that we're gonna sweep all of these lower highs and whatnot, and this will probably bonk you, and we're gonna have to flip the weekly here, and then the next time is where it goes parabolic. Reclaim this point. None of this shit matters. We're going all-time high. But it's gonna take some time. I don't think this happens in 2024. But go back on your charts. I have a lot of threads on CT about this and tweets about like trend trading and stuff like this. So a bunch of charts are going to respect this system. Crypto really responds to the system well. Yeah, I think I definitely gave away too much information there. But the thing is, Tex, I think people won't know how to execute on that, number one. And number two, they probably won't believe me. But it's okay. It's okay. Every once in a while, we got to give away a little some. Magus does it too. Sometimes he goes on stream and he's like, I just gave too much away. And I'm like, I look at it and I go, I don't think people realize what he just said. I think it kind of just flew over their heads. Is this the Trader XO guy you were referring to? Yeah, that's who I'm referring to. I'm new to crypto. Who do you recommend following? Everybody I follow. Go in my follower list and follow everyone I follow. Celestia Foundation news. Oh, did I miss a question? Is there a particular trend line or just obvious trend? I use my own. 4-hour trends, daily trends, weekly trends. Are those trends open or Paragon proprietary? They're mine. They're not Paragon, but they're not like you can just get EMAs on here, right? You could use this indicator and just type them in, right? You could do your own. The only thing that's different about mine, I talked about this on last stream too, is they stay on the screen. Right, they stay exactly, like it doesn't matter what time frame I'm on, they're still gonna be there, right? Other EMAs are gonna track to the time frame that you use. So when you flip around time frames, they're gonna get they're gonna track the time frame that you're viewing. Okay. Should we look at Tia? We'll do alts in a little bit. It's a nice candle for Tia. Actually, is it? There it is. Let's see how many people longed. A shit ton. 10% open interest increase on that headline. What up, Vital? Classic pattern before unlock bullish news. Yeah. Unlocks haven't historically proven to be bearish. You know, a WAWAT made this famous, at least for me. He's the first guy and the only guy I saw talking about this. And he said the concept of bullish unlocks. And the concept was going back to 2022, 2023, everyone would short unlocks. They'd be like, oh, on this day, an unlock is happening and price would be trading here, and people would short. And he would long into the unlocks to squeeze these motherfuckers out, right? And he would long into it, and then, you know, it would probably bleed much after, right? Maybe I drew this wrong. He would long into the unlock and maybe to have a correction or do something like this and distribute and, you know, really shake the conviction of people that are shorting. And then a couple weeks after it, it would start bleeding out, right? So like no one was able to successfully short unlocks. He developed that edge. He was the first person I saw say it. I don't know if he still does it. I don't know if it's still viable. I've never taken that trade. I don't like trade like that. So, you know, I don't know any of the stats around bullish unlocks, bearish unlocks. I don't know any of the stats around that stuff. I love this explanation to when you switch out in and out of trend mindset. Yeah, thanks, man. Very simple. How do you compound using those trends? That's a whole nother topic, man. That's not something I'm gonna cover on stream. That's a long ass topic, even if I wanted to. What are your thoughts on the 20, 50, 100? Okay, so my thoughts on any TA. Screw EMAs. EMAs, VWAPs, fucking price action, order flow, whatever. Trade what inspires you. Trade what's interesting to you, number one. And number two, build enough confidence to trade the numbers that you're using. Mercury, Trader Mercury, one of my favorite, you know, traders in crypto, a close friend of mine, uses the 200 SMA and the 200 EMA. He doesn't use 100s or 20s or 5s or anything. That's it. This is his entire system. That's it. 200 EMA, 200 SMA, that's all he uses. Pierre and Krillin, they use a combination of EMAs and SMAs. The numbers that Pierre uses are pretty similar to what I use because I started building my system based on his. But they use EMAs plus SMAs plus weeklies. But I don't do that. I simplified it myself again. I use the 4-hour trend, which is 13, 21, 34, right? And then 100, 200. So like my daily is 100, 200. My weekly is 100, 200, right? So this is what I use. Someone else is going to say, I'm going to use the 50. Someone else is going to say, I'm going to use the 70. Someone else is going to say, why the 100? Use the 99. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Use whatever is proven to work for you at the end of the day. That's it. I started off by copying other people's system, and then I quickly realized I don't like it. I'm going to use my own. And then I started using that. I don't use any SMAs. All I use are EMAs, right? So, and then this is it. This is all I use. I use these 5. Mercury uses 2. I think Pierre uses 7. If I'm not mistaken. Someone in chat may know. Right? So those are the EMA traders that I know. But it really doesn't matter, man. So I don't have an opinion on like the numbers that you posted. Is it me or stream quality back to being shitty? It could be you. I'm looking at my OBS right now and I'm streaming at 6200 kbps with 0% dropped frames. CPU usage is low, 60 frames per second. Everything is good on my end. It says excellent as well. Could be you, brother. Later, Noped. Have a good one, brother. Noped is an admin in the clinic, and he's saying join the clinic, but I'm gonna veto that, brother. The clinic is private. Cannot join the clinic. Yeah, you're right, Codes. It is locked up. Get Trader SC. Yeah, that'd be cool. Funny story that Trader SC has had me blocked since 2021 because I reply guide him with like a joke, and I understand that sentiment where you can't tell who's trolling you and who's just like, you know, doing some friendly banter. But he blocked me back then. I'm still blocked by him. Maybe EXO can put in a good word for me. Okay. Wait, I saw a lot of people on Twitter that trade VWAPs that they mix them with EMAs. So I was wondering, why would you mix volume indicators with time indicators? I focus more on volume indicators. I mix both. For me, VWAPs are levels. They're dynamic support and resistance levels. Trends are a systematic tool that I could use to signify or help me understand when a market's going to go from a trending environment to a range-bound environment, and how I can define my risk along something that's going parabolic. If I use VWAPs, it's going to be very hard for me to, at any point in here, get into a trade. If I use VWAPs alone. If I use EMAs, I could probably get into something that's going parabolic like this on different time frames. VWAP traders may have their way to do it. Like a pure, you know, Magus may have a way to do this as well. Like, but I have my way of doing it. So that's why I use both. For me, a VWAP is a dynamic SR, right? Like, it doesn't matter if they're trading flat or they're trading in a sloped manner. I look at them as support and resistance levels. And I look at them as like values to accept outside of, values to reject. And that's pretty much how I use them. I don't use them as like a trend trading tool. Although, no, I don't, yeah. See, when I scalp, I don't trade, like, if I'm scalping or if I'm trading intraday, I'm trading mean reversion. I prefer environments where VWAPs are flat and to try to take trades off of value area low when they're confluent with, like, big OI pukes, right, at significant levels, and look to just mean revert them back into the VWAP. Those are the trades that I prefer taking. I would never look at, like, a low time frame VWAP and be like, okay, I'm going to, you know, long this retest and take profits here, and long this retest and take like, I'm not going to do that on the 1 minute chart. In a trending environment, I'm trading hourly charts or 4-hour charts, and I'm trying to get a big puke, trying to buy this, and I'm looking to just hold that and not look at 1 minute charts and scalp. Different approaches for different people, man. All right, thanks, brother. Would you say that everyone is using the same setup? The gains. Okay, hold on. Would you say if everyone is using the same setup, then the gains is using something? I don't understand the question, brother. Why do 60 FPS for a trading stream? I would say increase the resolution instead. You know, good point, man. I might take your advice. I never even fucking thought about that, but yeah, I don't know why I have 60 FPS for a stream. It's a very good point, very valid point. I can go down to 30 FPS for the next stream. I don't want to mess with settings while I'm streaming, you know, I'm not that smart, but I'll do it after this. Okay, if everyone is using the same setup, then the opportunity is in using something different. Yeah, I mean, look, price action trading is probably the most well-known way to trade. You know, ICT style trading is the most popular trading, you know. He has multiple different setups and techniques and triggers and yada yada. Excuse me. I found one or two that worked for me. I like support and demand blocks. I like liquidity sweeps. I like breakers. I don't care about fair value gaps, and I don't even know what other, like, time zones and kill zones and all this stuff. I like a few of them. I took a few of them and I used them. They work, right? It doesn't matter to me that other people are using them, they work, right? You can get profitable taking someone else's strategy, but then at the end of the day, can you execute? That's what trading's about. Trading is not about entry, stop loss, trigger, invalidation, take profit, repeat. You know, it's not about like longing here, stop there, take profit here. Okay, it gets here, I got my trigger and I'm gonna whatever. There is so much more to this trade in the mental aspect and everything else in between. Confidence and there's so much that goes into this. It's not as simple as this 99% of the time in my experience. So trading is about self-mastery more than it is about like a system. A system is just a framework or a guide to help you manage risk and understand how to mark out invalidations on a chart. Without a system, looking at this might seem very like difficult. Like, how do I know when to buy? How do I know when to sell? So a system will like clarify, make things a little bit simpler for you, map something out. It's like looking at a map versus having a GPS, right? But ultimately, you're the one that puts the coordinates or the addresses in a GPS. You dictate what it does. So yeah, there's value in exploring the ideas and finding an edge that other people don't use, 100%. But that doesn't mean that you can't just use well-known things and be profitable as well. Oh, ONDO. Never mind. Thought it was higher. Rocky, I just answered that question. Which EMAs do I use? I just answered that question 5 minutes ago. So you can scroll back in the stream just a little bit. I even wrote it on the screen. When Paragon discount? Whenever Magus and Charlie decide, bug them, dude. I've told them maybe 5 times already. All right, let's get into some alts. Where should we start? I'm gonna start with PENDLE. Okay, well, that's nice. This is super clean. This is super, super, super clean. I think, you know, sometimes it pays to want to like outsmart the market, and sometimes it pays to just be a dumbass and trade the most obvious level. And this is one of the most obvious breakouts there are. Combine this with daily trends, combine this with weekly trends. This is beautiful, right? I think even there you go, yearly VWAP, right? We're trading above the yearly VWAP right now. I think any kind of dips into this region are for buying and playing trend continuation up to the yearly value very high. I am extremely long biased on PENDLE. I think this is the most clean invalidation that you can get as far as losing the weeklies, losing the dailies, losing this SR. It's all stacked in this region. It needs to continue to hold above kind of like 350. I think this looks really clean. PENDLE's a trade that I longed a little bit this morning at the yearly VWAP. I don't have the highest conviction in it. Right now, the reason I longed is because I had the confluence. Let me delete these drawings. I have the confluence of yearly VWAP with 4-hour trend. So a trend plus a dynamic SR, good region to look to buy the dip. Bought the dip this morning, early pre-market on, you know, before the New York Stock Exchange opened. I'm in this long. Is it high confidence? Not really. Do I think that this specific entry is going to take me all the way up to here? Probably not. Do I think it's possible for us to set another, you know, lower high, come back down, maybe run this low again, maybe form a range, these things catch up a little bit? Yeah, I think that's possible. We'll have to see, one step at a time. But, you know, obvious trigger for obvious entry, have to take it in the morning. Haven't taken any profits off this one yet, but I wanted to point this one out because the high time frame just looks so good, and definitely one that I'll probably continue trading a lot of because I like any coin that's trading above the weekly and the daily and reclaiming these big points of breakdowns, these big SR points of breakdowns. see. Okay. IO. To me, IO is, I mean, like I've said this a million times, I think everything's bottomed, right? I think pretty much everything's bottomed. So this has been kind of trading around the same level since July, right? We're in September, July, August, September, 3 months. 3 months of kind of ranging around the same level. You're looking at the last like 6 days of price action. Not only are we reclaiming this 194 level that we've respected over the last 3 months, but we're also for the first time flipping the daily trend, right? We've traded into it. We've traded above it and deviated it. This is the first cross that we've been given. We're holding above the daily trend. This little faint green line is your weekly. I don't think it's ready to expand. I don't think you're ready to get your banger like 2x trade out of this, but one to definitely watch for. And one that you know, I'm trading actively. I think one that, you know, not a lot of people are talking about. So definitely keep an eye on IO from these lows. RUNE is interesting. I don't think it's the best looking chart, but it does seem to me, because of the way the 4-hour trend's trading, that we could get a very strong pop out of this region, right? Clean respect for 4-hour trend, kind of crabbing above the weekly. If we really start pressing into this region a little bit, I think you can get a really strong move to like 540. It reminds me of kind of like the coiling that Render was doing right at resistance, right? Holding 4-hour trend, coiling at resistance, and then getting a very, very strong move. So if Bitcoin allows and doesn't have to break down or anything like that, and it's just trading sideways and it's grinding up, we're going to get this trade on RUNE. I just ripped a so long. Am I cooked or what? I'm actually curious now too. Where's your like, what kind of trade are you taking? Are you just like, I longed, you know, fucking liquidate me, I don't give a fuck? Or like, what kind of trade are you taking? Because I think Solana looks good above 139. Like, I would continue to buy dips into this region. If we did trade down a little bit more on Solana, I'd be looking to long myself. I don't think you're cooked, but I do think it can trade lower. Right, so like wherever you probably get stopped, if it does trade down, it'd probably be my entry, or maybe I wait for this reclaim and long Solana. So if you're longing here, I mean, you are longing like 10% down or whatever the fuck you corrected. Let's see. I just don't think there's like a clean setup. 7% down. Not the cleanest setup on Solana at the moment, in my opinion. I think there's charts that look much, much better than Solana. But it's not bad. I talked about Solana earlier in the stream, just kind of saying that it's more of like a choppy, it's a really choppy market to trade over the past few months. It has not been clean as far as like trend trades go or anything like that. So FTMETH is an interesting pair, but I'm interested now. You got me curious. I mean, this doesn't look bad. I think you said earlier in the stream, if I'm not mistaken, that you said it looked cooked. I don't think it looks cooked. But I think if you get, this, you take it. You play trend continuation. I think FTM looks really good itself. I think we talked about this earlier as well. That FTM's trading at a level that's very interesting in and of itself, right? holding 62 would be great, but if this does dump down to 53, this is like a long on FTM for sure, right? This is a region, like a must long region on FTM if you break down to like 53, right? Confluence of weekly, dailies, SR, incredible long opportunity there. Do I buy low cap memes on chain? Not often, man. Not often. All right, let's see. STX, MOG, ONDO, Jupiter, JTO, Popcat, ZRO, Osmo, BMB. Jesus Christ. I'll do a bunch. I'll do ZRO. I'm gonna do ZRO first because we got asked earlier. And I also think ZRO is a fucking monster. So one thing to note, ZRO has been strong regardless of obviously it's going down when Bitcoin goes down, but it's been an outperformer. It's not been a bleeder. It's not something that launched and went to zero. It had a really strong rally. It's been making higher lows all summer, right? So like as Bitcoin has made lower lows, right? Bitcoin in August traded well below the June lows, right? ZRO did not, right? ZRO made a higher low on that August puked. Relative sign of strength, has been very strong when Bitcoin is strong. Right now, trading at a pretty difficult region, right? So you're trading back above like this local resistance, simple, dumb SR level, resistance a bunch of times, tried to be support, failed. So it's like never been support. Big, massive breakdown, big rejection, massive breakdown. Again, really, really struggling around like 460. I think all you guys can see the same thing. The thing that ZRO needs to do from here that it didn't do last time, right? I tried to get bullish on, no, not there, here. I tried to get bullish on ZRO right here to look for continuation off the daily. It didn't give us that. ZRO absolutely needs to hold the daily here. Pretty much where it's at, right? We're at 408 right now. So I'd say like into like 380s, 390s, like this region needs to round out as support. The confluence that you have here on the daily is like daily demand. So you have daily demand, daily demand, daily trend. We could actually just simplify it right here. Daily demand, daily trend, absolute must hold region on ZRO. Otherwise it's probably going to bleed out a lot lower and we're just going to stay stuck in this range bound environment. If we want to start trending, we need to start respecting the trends. Let me get a sip of water. You know what's good is I'm feeling better. I started this stream. I didn't think I was going to make it all the way through. I don't know if you guys heard that, but when I started the stream, I didn't think I was going to make it all the way through the stream. I was like, I'm going to have to call it early. I'm feeling like shit kind of still. What's up, Sam? I haven't done ONDO yet. I can look at it. I looked at it briefly, though. I rebought some spot ONDO recently, Sam. So we're back team ONDO Condo once again. STX. Actually, I need to look at STX myself. For some reason, it's not on my watch list. Let me fix that now. Let's put STX back on the watch list because I'm fumbling by not trading STX, I think. Yeah. All right. This essentially is the same trade that I'm looking at on RUNE, but cleaner. I'm looking at the same thing on RUNE right now, but this is so much cleaner. This looks like on the hourly. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, I don't think I get this tag, but I'm gonna set an alert here and see if I can long in this region if it gets retested. 176. If I get a tag at 176, I'll see if I can long. We'll go for a swing. Let's see. very difficult region, right? Because like, if you guys didn't watch the top of the stream when I was talking about where Bitcoin is, where others are right now, right? Could be a local top soon, right? But alts look good, right? So it's like a difficult position to want to continue pushing the risk on alts versus capitalizing and just staying calm. And, you know, I locked in a lot of profits from the last 5 days. Do I, you know, how much of that do I want to keep pressing? That's the question at this moment. So likely to run this high. You'll see what the response is around this high. Come back down. Must hold region. If it bleeds out to the daily here, it's just gonna need a lot more time, right? It's probably gonna ping pong for a while before it does anything great. So if we want a trending trade on STX, this would be the region to look for it. Again, just Bitcoin dependent, right? But I set an alert there. I'll set an alert higher as well. We'll come back to it. Codes, why are you deleting your messages, man? I didn't even read what you said, but it looks like you're deleting them before I read them. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. We did STX, MOG. MOG, I took a quick long on MOG this weekend. I think it looks okay. I'm not a MOG fan, man. As far as memes go, I'm not a massive MOG guy. I'll look at the chart briefly. It's shaping up nicely, but the issue that I had with MOG, and I was telling my friend Agony about this, is when you break out of like consolidations like this, right? So long consolidation, markup, you want to try your best to set an accumulation range like much higher, right? If we have to retrace all the way back to here, it's really not the strongest has. It doesn't mean that it's like it's turbo fucked. It's just I look at something like Popcat and I go, well, what were the two strong memes this summer? It was Popcat and MOG for a bit, but you know, Popcat just looks so much better than MOG. Not to say this can't perform well, but overall, the way that this is traded, this chart's just not as good as like Popcat. So if you're gonna trade a meme right now, I would be trading Popcat, not MOG. I mean, but it looks fine. My thesis on memes is that they're gonna pop off next year, like absolutely turbo pop off, but like next year. People are too conditioned to bid memes, and there's too many coins on the market right now to look at once again. You guys remember, like in April, May, June, none of these coins mattered. We didn't trade any of these. They were all downtrending. They're all dog shit. All we were trading was memes. Very saturated trade, and now the market has options again. The market has so many options of coins to trade that it's going to be very hard to get that super concentrated liquidity across every meme coin. So generally speaking, memes will be fine. They'll do the market average. They'll go up a little bit, but they're not going to have their turbo outperformance moment, in my opinion, until next year. I think Beam doesn't look that good from memory. I think I took it off my watch list. This is the wrong coin, right? This is not the right coin. This is not the right coin. Is it BEAMX? It's BEAMX. It kind of looks like ONDO, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, so many coins are here, right? So many coins are here. We looked at STXs there. We looked at RUNE there. I'm telling you guys, like, look at others. It's trading into this region. So I'm pretty much going to give you the same analysis on all these coins that are pretty much overlapping with the same thing, right? Focus on 4-hour trends. Look for the 4-hour trend trade to squeeze above this. This is resistance. This has not flipped bullishly yet, right? Like Sui has, I think, or maybe it's just about to. Yeah, Sui is just about to. Right, Sui will. It doesn't matter even if Sui like fully like Burj Khalifa's down here. This is gonna flip bullishly. This is way ahead of the pack, like way ahead of the pack as far as other coins. Other coins are trading into resistance and trying to break through resistance. while Sui like ass blasted through this and will correct into support, right? Sui will be a dip to buy if everything rejects here, versus like if everything else rejects here, the coins that are at resistance are gonna be back in their accumulation ranges. Jupe and JTO. I recently tweeted Jupiter and JTO. They're basically the same idea on both of them, which is if you want a levered bet on Solana, a spot pickup on these coins is not a bad idea where they're trading, right? This sort of region, this whole thing is accumulation, right? So if you can get spot buys as close to range lows as possible, this is not a bad purchase. This is not a trending asset in any way, right? Even on the daily or anything like that. If this gets bonked here and comes back to range lows, somewhere around this region, as close to this as possible, maybe in the bottom half of the range lows, I think is a good spot pickup, spot and chill. Don't worry, don't stress about it too much. Wait for Solana to start its new like expansion above its range high, which is going to come above like $170, $180 on Solana. That's where these coins are going to go bonkers. So I think it's a slow burn, slow cook. JTO and Jupiter are pretty much the same thing. Probably have the same analysis on both. Yeah, exact same analysis on both. Like you want to buy close to these lows and just kind of chill. I think there's better coins to trade at the moment, but not a bad spot pickup type of coin. All right, ONDO, similar thing. The interesting thing about ONDO versus other coins, ONDO hasn't had a bearish cross on the weekly trends. Let's flip to some other coin. What were we just looking at? We'll take RUNE, for example. RUNE flipped bearish. It's going to take a minute before this flips like bullish. Assume that I drew that correctly and crossed before it's ready to expand. ONDO never did that, which is an interesting thing to pay attention to, right? This could just be, it could be. I'm not trying to give you like crazy hopium or anything like that. It's just an interesting thing to note. So while we are trading into the weekly trends from the bottom side right now, we haven't technically crossed bearish on the weekly, which is an interesting tidbit. And I rebought some ONDO spot after luckily selling this Pico top, like well documented. In prior streams, I've talked so much about ONDO on stream as far as like valuations go and what my target was and everything like that, evolving R risk. Talked about this extensively in Paragon, taught the evolving R concept in there. I think I talked about this on CT2 with Trader Motif, who I also interviewed. Great trader. Love Motif, dude. Great guy. I think we both like sold the top on ONDO here, but yeah, started buying some of this back. I think it's gonna be probably more of a slow cook, but leader of its narrative, right? If you think of RWA, you think of ONDO, right? I don't think we have a better alternative yet in my mind. So I'm pretty bullish on ONDO, and I think it's a good opportunity to start rebuying some of that spot that I sold off. So bought some spot down here. Not really gonna try to trade this too much. Just gonna let it like slow burn, cook, take its time, and try to capitalize on new all-time highs. Maybe later this year, maybe next year. We'll see how long it takes for that to happen. Say. Not the chart I want. Do I have say down here? Okay. Say. Range high. Weekly trend. Listing anchored VWAP. Tons of overlapping resistance right here. Just tons. Now remember, the only reason Say got this turbo pump over the last week is the beta play on Sui. Market participants are conditioned to bid Say. Anytime Sui strong, liquidity kind of swaps back and forth. It got that beta play kind of pump. It pumped right into resistance. Recognize that SUI is also at very strong resistance. It's at the point of breakdown, right? This is a very strong region of resistance after doing a 2x, basically with no pullbacks, like very shallow pullbacks along a 2x. I think, I don't think you FOMO into SUI here, or say here. I think it's almost better to miss this and wait for this reclaim. Like, tons of alts are in this region right now, right? So if you want to try to play trend continuation, you have to play it on like 4-hour charts or lower, and be very, very like locked in on that and understand where coins are trading at, right? What's going on here? What's the purpose for trading Sol ETH pair? It's just another chart to trade. It's just that simple. It's just another chart to trade. Clean levels. So we did STX. Popcat I talked about earlier on stream. Yeah, it'll be timestamped symbol break, dude. I don't want to do it again. Apologize, man. I did Popcat earlier in the stream. It'll be timestamped tomorrow if you want to come back later when it's timestamped, or just scroll back, whatever you feel like. All right, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. I'm gonna miss some of the alts that are not that interesting. DMT I haven't looked at in a while, so I'll look at DMT. Jesus, I think this is gonna take a minute. I think DMT is probably a coin that's gonna take a minute. It hasn't even started to really form an accumulation range. It's kind of just been bleeding out. Like, it set a new low in September, so certain altcoins have been doing this. They bottomed in, some of them bottomed in July, some of them bottomed in June, and they've been kind of range bound, but they're putting in like higher lows, right? This is a coin that really hasn't put an accumulation range. It's kind of been bleeding out. This is the start of its bottom. It's probably going to have to do something like this before it can do anything special. I think low EV to kind of bet on this type of a move for a coin that just set the most recent low was the lowest low, right? Kind of lower EV to look for V-shape on this one. What's your current biggest bag? It's Ethereum, but not really because I wanted that much Ethereum exposure. It's just that I TP'd a lot of stuff in May and June, so I TP'd tons of bags into USD, but I TP'd some of that into ETH, so I naturally just had an ETH bag. And the reason for doing so back then was because we had that ETH ETF narrative. So some ETH was like TP'd in here, some was like TP'd in here. It wasn't, you know, like those coins got bodied. Thankfully, I didn't fully TP into ETH. Like most of it went into stable, some of it went into ETH. And then I bought a lot of ETH down here for reasons that I explained earlier in the stream. So it's ETH at the moment, but I'm probably going to take some profits on that and, you know, make that bag a bit smaller so that if there's a pullback, I'll look to try to buy some altcoins, add to some alts in here. Eventually, my portfolio is going to be pretty split between Solana and PEPE. Dimension, I know off the top of my head, is an accumulation. Mu is too much of a volatile fucking like Bronco. Right? Like, this is just an absolute like volatile ass Bronco ass coin. It gave a good trigger yesterday. I'm a little upset I didn't hold this. I longed down here and like closed before bed last night, so I didn't hold this position. But yeah, I don't really have any strong thoughts on this. Like, if you look at this, like, this is so illiquid. If you can tell that it's a liquid on the 4-hour chart, like, that's such an illiquid coin. I don't like this meme. I know a couple people really like this meme. I don't really like this meme. Like, it's like a VC meme coin. It's very strange. I'm running low on energy now. I'm gonna skip some questions, guys. Thanks, Jingo. Take care, brother. Worth using the ticker MuSol on TradingView. Mu tends to follow Popcat by a few weeks. Interesting. Let's look at that. Is this the one that you said? Yeah. Well, I think it was pretty much the same chart, right? Maybe a little bit more price history. Yeah, I gave thoughts on Mu. If WIF flips $2, is that a swing long signal to you? I think the better swing long is just buying spot WIF and chilling. I don't think longing at 2 is the best idea, to be honest. I think it's better to just buy spot WIF and chill as a swing long. No leverage, just chill in spot. Wait for the meme coin narrative to come around and hold on for your dear life. That's a better strategy versus trying to like look for this and long and may get bonked by the daily 200 and yeah, round trip into an L. Any advice for sideliners trying to get on board BTC? If your objective is simply Bitcoin, if you just want to buy Bitcoin, I think at this point, because I believe the bottom is in on Bitcoin, I believe we have absorbed significant negative catalyst after negative catalyst after negative catalyst, and we continue holding the lows. I think any dip you get on Bitcoin is a buy. Whether it dips to, 59, 60, even if you get a dip down here again, I think these are buys. I think your invalidation is basically just bleeding out below this, right? Very clear-cut signals. Bitcoin, above range highs this time is probably going to expand pretty hard. The next time we get here, I don't think you're going to get kind of like an SFP and like a breakdown and more ranging. I think this is probably very low likelihood to happen. So if you're just trying to get on board Bitcoin, simplest thing is just to look for pullbacks and buy those pullbacks, man. Even if it comes like here and then drops and it's like a similar price as it is today, you have a more structurally outlined invalidation buying a dip in the future versus trying to just buy the top on this one. So plan A, dip, plan B, higher and then dip. Both of those are opportunities to stack some BTC. Oh, you're deleting them because you're correcting them? Got it. Yeah, I don't have any kind of alpha on ONDO unlocks right now. I think it's a very saturated mindset. Everyone's kind of looking and pointing at the same thing about ONDO unlocks. Let me just tell you here. When ONDO was up above $1 and I was selling ONDO, people were like, why are you selling? Unlocks aren't until January next year. And this was June of this year. And they're like, it's not for 6 months. Why would you sell now? Right? And down here, people are like, well, what about the unlocks in January? Isn't that bearish? Shouldn't you wait for after the unlocks? I don't think there's value in the way people are approaching this unlock, right? Up here, it's like, oh, unlocks aren't for so long. Don't sell. Down here, it's like, oh, unlocks are coming up. Don't buy. Does that make sense to you guys? So I don't know if there's much value in the unlock thing right now. When they get closer, we'll think about it more. Have you started to accumulate PEPE yet? I bought one clip at 73 a month ago or so. I can't even remember exactly. I remember the exact number I bought it at. I don't remember where the price action was, but I bought it at 73 and I bought one clip of it. I still have more PEPE to accumulate. It's my third biggest holding right now after ETH and Sol, but it's not a full-sized bag. So my plans to accumulate Pepe is just time based. It's not even price based. It's more just time based. I think more time needs to pass. You know, even if I miss a move to here, like I wouldn't be selling spot Pepe here. I'd rather just like round trip and wait for more time and maybe accumulate more here, maybe accumulate more here. It depends. It's very like dependent on time in the market and what Bitcoin's doing and whether or not I feel that other coins have been saturated, other narratives have been saturated, and it's probably time for meme season again. I'm gonna skip more chart requests, guys. I'm like very low on energy today. I'm like coming off of like a little bit of like a mild like sore throat, little bit of like flu-like symptoms, low grade fever yesterday. So I'm like low on energy. I was feeling good for the first part of the stream, but I'm like running low again. So we're gonna skip some of these altcoin requests. I'm sorry about that. Usually I do like all of them. Well done, Doc. Just at me next time. Are you talking about buying ONDO or selling ONDO? Because buying ONDO, it's like I'm not even up that much on this buy, right? I bought it like 70 or something, right? I think. What was the price? I bought this on the daily trend tag, 66. I guess we are up a lot. But hey, man, I think all of this is just accumulation, right? Like when we were down here and me and you, like I know you bought really early. I bought one clip early, but I didn't size in into like this part. And I can't remember exactly where I bought, but it may have even been like a local top. But the idea is this will expand, right? All of this is accumulation. This will expand. And I think the same idea can be applied to ONDO and a lot of coins right now. Is they're in accumulation ranges, and some coins that you have low conviction in, you're not going to want to just like buy and hold underwater. But bags that you have like higher conviction in, and you're able to like mentally tolerate some drawdown on some recent buys, I don't think it matters too much, you know? When I bought Pepe at 73, my brain at that time was going, yeah, Pepe probably gets bodied lower. It's probably going to come into the 50s or 40s or something like that. It looks really, really weak, right? I remember dealing with Pepe last year and dealing with this kind of a bleeder, right? And this kind of a bleeder. So I was like, you know, it could just continue bleeding out. And if I don't get the perfect bottom entry on this first clip, it's okay. It can come lower and I'll buy more. That's conviction, right? You don't want to do that on like any random bag. I know you have a lot of conviction in ONDO, so it could be one of those cases. Pepe whiff seems like Pepe is the better bet. I almost want to disagree with that. And this is me saying I like Pepe so much more than whiff. But to me, this seems like whiff is a better buy than Pepe. At least for the time being. I think the way the market's going to move, I think whiff will have, whether it's here or here, I think whiff will have a period of significant outperformance over Pepe for a while before Pepe catches a bid. Just the way this looks like, this is months and months of accumulation on Pepe whiff. For this to break down, I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening after all these months. Right? After all these months of accumulation, I don't see a mark down. I think it's much more likely to see a markup, which makes me say that whiff is probably going to have a period of outperformance against Pepe at some point. What market cap do you see for Pepe? It's going to flip SHIB, whatever market cap that ends up being. Well, that's a 2x, 3x, 5x. It depends a lot on SHIB. We'll see. That's been my thesis since last summer. Since last summer, it was like a fucking 30x away when I was buying it, and now it's only like a 2 or 3x away. So that was the original game plan, and I'm sticking with that game plan. And you know, it's funny because at the time when I was buying it, people were telling me that my target is too optimistic and it's too moon boyish and it's crazy. And now people are telling me it's too pessimistic and it's not bullish enough and you're aiming too low. It's funny how that happens, right? But the original plan was the original plan, so I'm sticking with the original plan. And I'll probably TP a very significant amount on that flippening, and then we'll go from there, right? I won't TP like 100% of the bag, but I will TP a very significant amount and take that money to the bank, and it's not going back into crypto if and when that occurs. and we'll play it by ear from then. Does macro tradfi blowing out worry you? Macro tradfi blowing out worry you being a only longer? I don't know what that means, Lando. You're gonna have to explain what that means. Meme triangle pattern forming on WIF. This? I guess so. To me, it just looks like accumulation. It just looks like an accumulation range. I tweeted out somewhere in here on WIF that I believe that WIF sub 2 is probably the best spot purchase you can make out of top 100 coins. I still believe that. Even though I'm a PEPE maxi, I still think this is going to do some numbers. Especially the way that this accumulation is forming. This looks so bullish to me. What are your price targets for WIF? I don't really know, dude. I really don't know. I don't have price targets for WIF. WIF and PEPE are like 1A, 1B. PEPE being 1A, WIF being 1B. Wherever PEPE goes, I think WIF will kind of more or less mirror it as far as market cap goes. That's the way I'm looking at it. I don't think PEPE is going to like just destroy WIF in returns. I think they're more or less going to be the same. They probably both end up flipping SHIB, to be honest. So they both end up flipping SHIB. PEPE will be the quote-unquote meme coin of Ethereum. WIF will be the meme coin of Solana. Dogecoin is the original. I know people don't look at like this anymore, but Dogecoin is the original meme coin of Bitcoin, right? So all three of those deserve kind of like a de facto meme coin in the top 20 coins, I believe, especially since this cycle has been so meme coin oriented. I think they all end up like top 20 or something. Like they'll have fixed spots probably forever in like the top 20. You know what I mean? They'll just kind of stick around being those kind of like meme coins with high valuations that people trade, and then next cycle we might have new meme coins. Who knows? All right, I'm gonna wrap up the stream there, boys. I'm probably gonna have to take a nap. I'm supposed to go to Big Sur. I don't know if I should have said that on stream. Whatever. I'm supposed to go to Big Sur with my girlfriend in about 4 hours for like a night out, night away. Kind of weird that we're doing it on Monday, but that's just how it worked out. And I'll be back tomorrow, but I want some energy to have like some fun and go out. So I'm probably going to take a nap. I'm drained. I'm tired. But I think, man, just to TLDR this entire stream, dips are for buying. Things have bottomed. I said that last week on stream. I don't care, to be honest, about 65K. That's a level that everyone has marked out. I personally don't give a rat's ass about 65K, whether we trade above it or below it, or we correct from here, or we go take 65K and then correct. I don't care. The actual market structure breaks at 70K. I think when we trade above that, we're going to all-time highs. Yeah, dips are for buying. Some altcoins look like they're in really good accumulation. Sui's a coin that I really want to buy if it corrects 30%. ETH will probably go to 2,800, and I'll want to take profits on some spot at 2,800. That's about it, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining in. Hit the like button on your way out. It'll help out the channel a lot. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.
I don't want to ever give it up. I know you said never get involved. Now I had a taste. Now falling in deep, we're gonna find out. I don't want love. want you tonight. I don't want to ever give it up. I know you said never get involved. Now I had a taste. Now falling in deep, we're gonna find out. I don't want love, but I want you tonight. Shake this feeling